Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and as you can see, we're digging into the medical pack again today. Alright, so let's flip her over and see what we've got. We'll kind of go through this medical pack some other day, but today we're looking at the Spyderco Tasman Salt. And that is where my Tasman Salt rides, in the medical kit, because of the spider edge blade and the H1 steel. And what we have here is a approximately 3-inch H1 steel blade in a Delica 3 handle. And I don't know why it's in a Delica 3 handle. I don't know why they haven't moved forward to a Delica 4 handle, or why they don't have their own handle. As we'll see in a minute, it's a bit problematic putting it in the old handle. But first, so we have a hawkbill. And why would I carry a hawkbill? Well, the reason I'm carrying a hawkbill is, as you guys have been watching the channel know, there's already a Boker tech tool in there, kind of a Swiss Army knife from Boker, that has a plain edge blade and a saw on it. So if I need those things, they're there. This rides on the outside of the pack so that I have quick and easy access to something to get rid of seat belts or any other type of strapping or whatever that somebody that's injured may have around them. And that's why it's a spider edge and a hawkbill. And Spyderco does a serrated edge real well. We'll look at that whenever we get back out to the desk. But let's take a close look here at what we end up with. We've got a little bit of tip down here that is a bit of a flat edge, and then we go straight into spider edge all the way across. So this thing might as well be 90+% spider edge, and in this case, that's a good thing. And we have the H1 steel. H1 steel is Spyderco's rust-proof steel, or highly corrosion resistant. And with testing that's been done in the past, Cutlery Lever did some, and some others have, they have pretty much proven this stuff is pretty much rust-proof. And it's also soft. Now, it work hardens. That's why they're saber ground instead of being full flat ground, no matter which model you get. But it's still soft. So that's why I got the spider edge. That, and this is going to be put, as you saw, in an emergency kit. So I want something that'll rip through a seat belt quickly. As we move on down, we have our volcano grip, is what I believe they call this stuff, and it's alright. It does okay. It only facilitates tip up, left or right. There's no tip down carry, and that's probably alright. And it is linerless. There are no liners in here whatsoever, which makes this a very, very light knife. Like I said, we have a problem with this, and there you can see it. I can see the spider edge above the edge of the handle here. And while it's not a big deal right now, there's nothing that's catching on anything. If I were in a situation where I had to use this knife a lot, if I was on a fishing boat or something and I was using this to cut rope, or whatever was necessary there, this could be a problem, because probably once or twice a season I would be sending this back to Spyderco to get that spider edge sharpened, or sharpening it myself. And after a couple of sharpenings, I'm probably going to start seeing sharpened pokies instead of just the edges of the serrated edge. So I really think Spyderco should get us a new mold. Do something where we're covering more of this edge on the hawkbills. Molds aren't that expensive. We can do this, Sal. So anyhow, that's the little issue there. Something to think about anyhow. Otherwise, we've got a pretty nice deal. I would like to see the handles upgraded, give us bidirectional texturing, cover that up. But we do have rust-proof hardware throughout. We've got that H1 steel, and it makes for a really great little knife in a Delica size. And whenever I say in a Delica size, I'm not joking. We have a Delica 4 here, and they're pretty much the same size. Open them up, still pretty much the same size. These blades are pretty much the same size. The only real difference here is one's a hawkbill, so it's a little easier to cut some rope or cut into straps and stuff like that, where this one's your standard Spyderco drop point. So alright, some things to be aware of with your Tasman Salt. One, our height gets up to 1 3/4 inches, so it's about, what was that, about 1/4 of an inch taller than a Delica. Overall length stays right about the same, 6 3/4 inches. Our blade length that I measured was 2.855. I believe Spyderco listed at 2.9, or maybe 3 even. But the idea here is this one is legal almost everywhere. That's another reason that this is going on my motorcycle instead of the rescue knife. I forget what it's called, but the other one has more than a 3-inch blade, and that could get me in trouble in various places. So the 3-inch works just fine. And we have a blade stock thickness of 0.1, so fairly standard there, and an edge length of 2.5, a little over. So all in all, it's a Delica, except for the height here. And one more thing, it weighs about 3/4 of an ounce less than your standard Delica because it has no liners. So it's about 1.78 ounces or 50.9 grams. So this is a lightweight for the size. But, you know, realize this isn't an EDC knife unless you do live on the water. This is more of a, you know, an emergency knife, something to have around for that bad situation. For most of us. Now, those of us that live out on the water, be on the boats and whatnot, you know, this may be your everyday carry. And ergonomically, well, it's a Delica, guys. It's good. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing with it. It's just a Delica. And, you know, that's a beautiful thing. Delicas are pretty ergonomic, good little knives. We've got nice jimping there on the thumb ramp. Not a lot anywhere else on the knife. The volcano grip, I believe is what this one's called. Yeah, it ain't so hot, but you know, it's better than being smooth. It does have some grip to it. Alright guys, so that is the Spyderco Tasman Salt. The big deal here is the H1 steel and the other componentry that does not rust. And that's really what this knife is about. And the spider edge. You know, and something I want to show you guys with the spider edge. People will tell you that the spider edge isn't sharp. How do you cut things with it? Or any serrated edge. And I'm not going to vouch for other companies' serrated edges here. But fully serrated hawkbill. They're plenty sharp. They will do just about anything you need. Is it a substitute for a plain edge? Absolutely not. But that's not what this knife is for. This is an emergency situation knife. That's why I got it in H1 steel, and that's why I got it in a spider edge. Because if I need to get somebody out of a seat belt or out of a helmet or whatever type of mess they've got themselves into with some sort of strapping, rope, whatever, this is the device to get them out and get them out in a hurry. You know, as we discussed in the camera down, there are some issues that I would like to see Spyderco take care of. We're using the older Delica handles here, and I get that it may be to facilitate the non-rusting hardware, but you know, the bidirectional texturing has really improved the Delica. You know, this little bit of daylight you can see there through the blade. You know, if I have to send this thing back to Spyderco and have them sharpen the blade again, there's a good chance I'm going to have sharp pokies sticking out right here, and that's not a good thing. I believe Spyderco could have done us a favor and reshaped the handle a little bit. Yeah, I know, that's spending some money, guys, but Eric and Sal do it right, you could spend a few extra pennies and just raise this edge right here just a little bit. So, you know, those are my gripes about the knife, but overall, it's a pretty impressive knife for the price. You get a non-rusting steel. You get a really ergonomic handle that even though this probably isn't a knife you're going to be cutting things all day with, still nice to have a nice comfy handle. So in the use case that I'm putting this knife, it's a winner, even with its faults. So Spyderco's Tasman Salt is one I'm going to have with me in my emergency packs. Anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.